you've helped create the Quest Nutrition line.
Yes.
And what have you learned during that process that you've kind of brought over to comic books? Like what have you taken from creating that business that you say, okay, this principle applies, this one does not? Like, what did you kind of take over from that initial building of that company?
I don't think there are any principles that don't apply. I think the biggest thing that I'll say is culture matters, and culture matters a lot, and it certainly matters even more when you're dealing with creatives. Now, back at Quest, we had built an entire studio inside the company, so I had a lot of experience working with predators and graphic designers and all kinds of very talented visual artists. We even did a VR experience, so it's that gave me a lot of years of a lot of very deep creative hands-on experience. So I understood like how particular culture is, especially for creatives, how they feel, what their space is like, whether there's trust, whether they have the freedom to try and experiment, or whether they feel like they're being turned into a pair of hands. So all of that, like thankfully, I had a lot of experience, and that's become one of the driving forces in my life is culture. And so I think I know we were talking about it before we started rolling, but I think I already mentioned it, but emotional safety, like that is the big driver for me, and I think is one of the things that I'm hoping to introduce with a handful of other people that feel the same way, and I'll put you in that category. That really want the creatives to have a place where they can come, and it isn't just treating them like an independent contractor. So we actually bring, when we can, which we have not always been able to because some people don't want it, but bringing people in-house, giving them health insurance, like really taking advantage of proximity, which I think when you get a creative group together and they're able to see each other and look at each other's work and push each other and communicate, it's like you really get something special. So I could go on and on about like the business principles that apply, but that one to me is at the top of the heap.
It's really interesting because talking to a lot of different artists and stuff, a lot of artists have this like view that you're going to go into a bullpen and all of a sudden you're going to sit there and you're going to see Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and they're going to be there just drawing and writing away, and that's not what the culture is at all in comic books. It's kind of like everyone goes off to their own little corner and does their own little thing, and they have their central headquarters where things are done, but there's mostly executives there, marketing, and it's not like that creative process that you kind of envisioned when you were like, oh, like they're all going to be there looking over each other. Oh, I like this panel. Oh, I don't like that. It's not that. It's interesting how it's changed.
Very isolated. And one thing I noticed, and the creative team that we have, our two artists, Jeremy Rapak and Neil Edwards, are extraordinarily talented. Like these guys are just freaks of nature. They are so good. But from issue 1 to issue 2, it's a big difference because issue 1 they did a great job and people are very kind and complimentary about the artwork in the book, and I'm very proud of how it came out. But when I saw what they were doing on issue 2, when they had gotten to know me and we flew them out to New York Comic Con and we got to spend time just physically in each other's presence, like there's neurochemistry at play where you're actually bonding and you're getting to know each other and you're meeting their wives. You know what I mean? Like it's just a whole different ballgame. 1,000%. And so issue 2 all of a sudden was like, whoa, the backgrounds are a little more detailed and like, they're trying things that they hadn't tried before because they knew the company was here to stay. They knew that we were for real, that it wasn't just like, I remember Jeremy Rapak was very concerned that I was just being complimentary of the book, but not being sincerely complimentary about the book. And so we, luckily, because Jeremy doesn't speak English very well, he's Brazilian, and we happen to have on staff this just extraordinary woman who happens to be from Brazil. And so getting together and watching him over the course of the 4 days realized, no, I'm being serious. Like, I really just think you're extraordinarily talented, and I'm so proud of what you've done in the book. And so getting to look in each other's eyes and him seeing that I flew a translator in just to make his life easier. It's like all these little things start to add up, man. And it's just like, that's something that most of us get to take for granted in our work environment is that we're in an office, we're together. But the comic industry has not had that for a very long time.
No, I agree. It's crazy.